MB Agusta Brutale 800RR Test 2020. Among the naked bikes up to 800 cubic meters, there is hardly a motorcycle more radical than this. Ideal for all those who want a little more and are ready to pay the price. Noble design and fast motorcycles. The traditional Italian brand MB Agusta stands for this more than any other motorcycle manufacturer. The current Brutale RR is no exception. I had the pleasure to scour Zonko's endurance tester for the 2020 season over the local country roads. The 798 cubic capacity 3-cylinder develops 140 horsepower at 12,300 revolutions per minute and a maximum torque of 87 Nm at 10,100 revolutions per minute, making it currently the most powerful production engine in the class up to 800 cubic centimeters. As the values already suggest, the engine wants to be revved to set off real fireworks, because not much happens up to 5,000 RPM. In addition, the lower gears are relatively long, which means that where the fun starts in second or third gear, the driver's license is soon gone, at least on country roads. The sound in the saddle is beguilingly aggressive and directly addictive, without the machine being unpleasantly loud when passing by. The quickshifter on the 800 deserves special praise, working very satisfactorily in all rev ranges. In the intermediate, automatically firing throttle gives a racing feeling by downshifting. The fully adjustable Marschini 43mm upside-down fork at the front and the Sachs shock absorber, also fully adjustable, provide an astonishing degree of stability even at wider radius. This is not a given with a wheelbase of just 1,400mm and inspires confidence, even if the machine cannot quite hide its vigorous nature. In general, the transparency that the MB Agusta conveys is unparalleled in this class. Even the steering damper can be adjusted in several stages according to individual preferences via a practical rotary wheel. The very front wheel-oriented seating position means that you are always perfectly informed about what is happening between man, machine and road. This uncompromising toughness is of course somewhat at the expense of comfort, although this is mainly noticeable in low speed ranges. The faster you go, the better the suspension works. The hard seat fits into this picture. Zonko's chiropractor is probably already rubbing his hands. The Brembo braking system fitted to the Brutale, with 320mm dual disc and radially mounted 4-piston calipers at the front, and a 220mm single disc at the rear, has enough braking pressure without being too sharp, but requires more manual force than the very fine goods of the competitor. The multi-stage adjustable ABS was impossible to bring into regulation range during our country road ride, which took place in near perfect conditions. The MB Agusta has as original equipment Pirelli Supercorsa SP tires. This hyper-sporty tire fits perfectly into the overall picture of the radical naked bike and has done its job quite excellently, no slipping. With all the advantages that distinguish the Brutale, one thing must be told, this is not an entry-level motorcycle. Despite all the riding aids, the rider is clearly more challenged here than on the competitor, which has now become incredibly accessible. A skilled hand is required to burn a precise line into the asphalt. In the low speed range, the bike demands quite a bit of power and work in the saddle. The competitor is more manageable here. However, if you are able to control the machine, the moments of happiness in the saddle are a constant companion. The precision with which impulses are implemented, whether over the wide handlebars or triggered by weight shifting, is fantastic. The enemy of any comfort in the saddle is the sporty front wheel-oriented seating position, but on the other hand it rewards by absolutely direct feedback. The Brutale 800RR is clearly a machine for heating, not for gliding. The traction control is adjustable in 8 levels and coupled to the wheelie control and works absolutely sensitive and reliable. The 4 different mappings, Sport, Normal, Rain and Custom, can be adjusted via somewhat antiquated soft buttons that don't really suit a motorcycle of this price range. Although the operation does not pose any riddles, it is more bumpy than one is used to by now. The somewhat cluttered and poorly legible LC display in monochrome design is not entirely innocent of this. In the year 2020, an information display on the level of the first Game Boy is simply no longer up to date, and the Brutale RR can't exactly be called a bargain. Last, but definitely not least, the optics of the MB Agusta Brutale 800RR. Here I would like to put the cart before the horse, or actually the 140 horses. Starting with the magnificent 5-spoke rim on the elegant single-sided swing arm. The eye wanders further along the fantastic 3-flow rear silencer up to the unique recess under the perfectly shaped floating saddle. And then the designers in Bears have unfortunately, as they say in Viennese, run out of mischief. The extremely wide fuel tank not only increases the turning circle of the MB to an almost ridiculously large size, it also gives the machine something of a clumsy feeling and distracts from the, in itself, elegant tubular trellis frame. I couldn't make a 100% piece with the drop-shaped light mask either. Here a classic round headlight would have been a better choice in my opinion. but fortunately tastes differ and I almost have to hope that no MB Agusta Brutale 800 Rush will follow, otherwise my savings are in serious danger. Conclusion: the MB Agusta Brutale 800 RR is certainly not a run-of-the-mill motorcycle. It's great that something like this is still being built. Who is not deterred by the high price gets a precise naked bike, which does not have to shy away from the comparison to the competition from a dynamic point of view. The beguiling sound that this 3-cylinder develops is the icing on the cake of this unique overall package. In expert hands on the road, the MB Agusta is definitely hard to beat. Of course, this gem also has one or two weaknesses, but these are easily forgiven in view of its uniqueness.